Hi everybody. So after a long time, I'm going to be posting a video today. So I hope you're taking good care of your physical and mental health. Now this recording is about trauma-informed exercise. So what it means is that when you're trying to process a lot of events in your life, which caused a lot of disruption to your own growth or to your own sense of self, so we can do this exercise to bring a sort of clarity to the events and how it has molded you throughout the years. Okay. So when I do this exercise, you'll be able to understand it a little bit better, hopefully. So let's start. Here we go. I'm just trying to pull up the exercise sheet. So just give me a minute. I haven't really prepared because this is an exercise that I myself have done many times, and it has always been helpful. Okay, so it's just about writing the series of events that has happened in your life with the date and time. Simple as that. Okay, so why is it so effective? Is because um, when we realize that okay, sorry, I got carried away because I'm trying to pull up the document here. Okay, so why is this exercise so valuable or so insightful is that a part of our brain actually operates in such a way after a traumatic incident or a series of traumatic incident has occurred, our brain operates as if there was no time or space. So it loses that sense of perception, like where it is um, with regards to the time zone or wherever you are at this moment. Now we are in 2025, but we still have emotional reaction to what happened in the past. Subconsciously or consciously, sometimes you'll be aware of those things as if it was happening right now. So your brain is still reacting to the stress that happened way back. Okay. So we need to help our brain to remember that we are now in a different time. Okay, so whatever has happened was in the past, and there was something that happened to us along the way. So along the way, it's not just we carried some emotional baggage or that we are still reacting as if we are under stress. It's not just that. We also carried something called resilience. Even though it was hurting, you were still able to function. You were still able to mold the way you behave, the way you respond in a more functional way to allow the environment to just be, but you were able to adjust with the environment. So that is also resilience. So you get to know what is more important in life. So, for example, let's say a man loses all his money and then slowly he's building his business back again. So it is really hard. Even after years has passed, he might still have fears of what if I lose all my money, just for an example. But that doesn't mean that even though all these years he is living only with that fear, he would have learned how hard work is important. He would have learned how contacts is important or how to build relationships in that frame, in the time frame, right? From the time where when he lost all his money to the time where he is now. So when he understands all the strengths that he has built throughout and all the skills that he has built throughout, and when he understands that the time has gone now, the time when something happened, like when he lost all his money, is a different time period. And he was a different person. And he's not the same person now. He's gained all the skills, he's more resilient, he understands life a little better, he's more mature. So when we really gain that understanding, we are able to process our trauma a little better. Right. So that is why I said it in the beginning that this is a trauma-informed exercise. Now, okay, I've got the documents. I'm going to jump right into it. I just have to toggle the screen. So bear with me just a few minutes as I bring that up. Okay. So it's going to be on Canva. Yeah, I think you're able to see it now. Okay. So let me go back to Canva so that I can toggle it. So here I've written down. So you would see that it's written as May 2nd on top. That's because so we are in 2025 now, the time that I'm recording. And this recording was made for a course in the name of effects of toxic relationships. So this was done for my participants, but of course, anybody can use this. So I'm going to name this exercise as time tracking. Okay, so what they do is we actually write down the date and the event. So I've actually simplified this exercise a little bit, but I'll also explain it a little further at the end. So the simplified version of this exercise is you're going to help your brain reorient, like you're going to help your brain stop responding as if you were your older self. So your older self was in fear, was in a lot of fear because what was happening was new. But now you don't have to operate at the same foundation of fear. Now you are more capable of responding to the environment. So we are going to look at all the capabilities, but that's going to be at the end of the exercise. So we are just going to reorient to where we are right now. So I'm breaking down this exercise in a more simplified form. We are just going to reorient ourselves to the present. Okay. So the exercise is that you have to start with writing the date and the facts. Only the fact. The fact means what had happened. So let's say he opened up his phone. In the example that I said earlier, a man losing all his money, opened up his phone, and then he received a message from the bank stating that his balance is zero. So that is the starting point. And then he realizes he was scammed or that he lost all his money because of bankruptcy or whatever it is. So there's some unfolding that's happening. But the moment you realize that this is real, your money is gone. So I'm sorry if this is triggering for you. This is just an example. I don't even know this person, but I know this could be a little bit fairly common among the world because we don't really own our money. Somewhere we have to keep maintaining it. So this is fairly common. But coming back to the topic at hand, so in this example, there will be certain moments where you realize that this is real, that this has happened to you. Okay, so we are going to write only the event and not about how we felt. So we are going to write the event. So in this example, however, where I have written it down, where you can see it on the screen, is an example of a man or a woman, could be anybody, who got into a bike accident. So June 2020, so this is 5 years back, is when they got the bike. So they're starting their story with that point in time. Okay. And here it ends with March 2025. So they've written several events that has led to March 2025. But here in this example, it's we've finished it off as to how they've recovered from what had happened. So let's look at what had happened until March 2025. So this is August 2021, first week. So probably they don't remember the exact date. I crashed the bike into the pavement. So probably there was a bit of there was an accident. And 2021, the same month, the second week, post whatever happened, the doctor told me I cannot walk for a few months. So this is a shock. So we think that probably the person thought that I'm going to be fine within a few months, as they're handling a lot of pain, but they're still handling it. But everything sort of turned around again when a doctor tells you you may not be able to walk for a few months. So when we are not able to walk for a few months, imagine all that ensues after that, the consequences of not being able to walk. You'll have to rely on other people. You'll be able to see a lot of new behavior responses from the people around you. You'll be able to look at what's important for you at that moment. Even the things that you took for granted will become suddenly like really important, and you'll feel grateful for the little things that you used to be able to enjoy and all that, right? So there's a lot that's going on. And the same year in October, there's something happened, met a psychiatrist for depression. So probably this person went into depression because they couldn't handle that sudden change that had happened in their life. Probably the environment also was not very supportive, and inside also they needed to build more skills at that time. Maybe they did not have at that time. And in January 2022, doctor said my recovery is too slow and I may never walk. So there's a possibility that so this is a medical thing, right? So nobody can just say this is how it works. For most things we have a solution, but we cannot really say how a human body will respond to a stress. Okay, so it's a very complex phenomena. So we cannot blame doctors also. They are also learning with every case. So probably they've explored it, and the doctor suggests that the person has to start building a new kind of a lifestyle where they may not be able to walk. But let's look at this. This happened in August 2021, and the doctor saying that they may never be able to walk is January 2022. So we can see how that in between so many things would have happened, right? So these are just the turning points. And in March 2023, so that is a year later, I recovered from depression. So they're not depressed anymore because one whole year has passed, and started committing myself to getting better. So probably they haven't walked yet, but they have built some skills over this last 1 year. And to be honest, the last 2 years, because this happened in August, right? So 1.5 years maybe. And in December, the same year, December 2023, they had symptoms of depression again. So just because we are healing from something doesn't mean everything is over. It's a healing is a cycle. So we go back to our old behavior patterns, our old ways of thinking, our old lifestyle, because we are used to it for many years together. So yes, we will go back, but we will always rise again. That's how healing is generally psychologically. Okay. So they went back, they had symptoms of depression again. But the good thing is now they know how to handle it better. The point is not to uproot whatever we are feeling completely, but actually being able to manage it when it comes again. Okay, so, and in March 2025, so this is the end of 2023, so about a year and 3 months later, fully recovered from accident. So here we don't know if the person was able to walk, but says fully recovered. Okay, so maybe they're not having any symptoms or pain, or probably they are also recovering from the initial shock of the accident. And changed career and friendships wouldn't meet my values. So here, I think this is a very beautiful way to write it. So instead of saying it in a very negative sense where we cause ourselves more victimization, they are putting their values up front. So this is something they would have learned across the years after realizing that, a lot of things throughout this time frame where the accident had happened. So they're renewing their sense of self. They got help through a psychiatrist or mental health people, and through their doctor and other support systems. And they finally realized what is really important to them. Okay, so insights. So I have realized I have gone through a lot. Things that helped me recover were. So here, this is the second part of the exercise. The first part is, as I said, it's really simple. I've broken it down to just date and facts. So as you start writing it, it might be a little difficult for you. So now I'm speaking to the participants who are going to try this. So as you start writing this will be really difficult for you because you have to go through all the emotional baggage one more time, and it will be really difficult. So if it is too much for you to write down, you can draw. Like you can make little bubbles and make a picture. It doesn't have to be artistic. That's not the point of this exercise. It has to be a way of expressing yourself. So you can make small bubbles. So bubble number 1 will be the month and year of where something happened. So let's say, for example, you got married into a system that you didn't know would work a certain way. So one bubble would be the date of marriage. And the next bubble will be the date where something had happened that shifted your point of view about the world or shifted the point of view about relationships. So something broke down inside of you. So each bubble can be those things. You can draw or you can write. So that's why when you're writing, you can just write the facts alone. So this means that you are giving more power to your logical brain and not your emotional brain. That doesn't mean you're suppressing our emotions. We are also observing them as they occur. Okay, so we are also observing our emotions, but we are highlighting our logical brain more. So you're just going to write the fact of what happened. And as you write down the date and the month, you will be able to see how much time has passed. So this happened 5 years back in my life. So let's say we're talking about the person who got into the accident. We are going to look at it. It really has materialistically, you're able to see, feel the words as you write, as the ink falls down, falls out of your pen. You're able to see that it's been 5 years. And now you should be able to let go of certain things that no longer adds value to your life, no longer adds strength to your perception, no longer, is helping you grow from one point to another point. It's just pulling you back. This happened to me. This happened to me. So when we keep telling ourselves, we are telling ourselves we haven't changed. And that's not true. Okay. So to remove the feeling of, feeling victimized by something, and helping us actually reorient ourselves to the present to see we have actually grown through the years. So when you write it down, your brain has more capacity to understand it even more deeper. Okay, so we're helping our brain to reorient ourselves to the present and becoming more clear with what we are facing and who we are at this moment. So after this, the second part of the exercise is the insights. So actually, even this I've simplified. So when you write the insights, I've given it in this format. So you have to write these sentences and fill in the blanks. That's it. So I realized I have gone through a lot. You don't have to write the same sentence. Whatever comes through your own self, you can write it. I realized I have gone through a lot. Things that help me recover where. So you will not. So let's say let's go back to this example. From 2020 to 2025, there would have been a lot of things that would have helped this person recover, because they are not in 2020 anymore. They're not in 2021. Sorry, they're not in 2021 anymore. They're in 2025, because throughout these years, something has helped them. So they are going to write down. So probably it would be like good friends or any gadgets or technology that help them live their life a little better. The doctor's system, the medical healthcare system would have helped them, and probably their psychiatrist, the medications, and the current research that's going on with regards to mental health, and all the awareness that the whole society is getting into. So now they're living in a new world where, mental health used to be a taboo back then. So there are so many things a person can think of. So they're going to write that. And people who supported me were. So now we are getting straight to the point, like who actually helped. Okay, so it could be a random stranger also giving us some words of advice, and that really stuck with us. So it could be anything. Okay, the problem happens when we overwhelm ourselves and we think that when help comes, it has to be really big. No, help comes in very small ways, and it's often we just have to pay attention. Okay, so people who supported me, and the next thing is positive changes I saw in me. So they started to be more aware of their values, like based on this example. So those are the positive changes. Changing career and friendships is not a simple thing. So changing your circle of friends into a circle who most aligns with your values, like who you are at this moment, presently, how you are showing up to the world. Your friendships used to be different back then. Have your friends also grown along with you? Okay, if they have, then it's great for you. Otherwise, we'll have to show to the world who we really are, so that we can attract people who are more like us. So it's not easy to change career or friendship. So the positive changes would be becoming more resilient, right? How else can we change a career? Becoming more resilient. And I no longer do what? So I no longer people please, or it could be I no longer see myself as a victim. Perhaps I know so many. I mean, even we have come across so many stories where the person doesn't have hands, but they draw with their legs. Or no matter which situation they are, they refuse to do certain things that will pull them back. So what are those things that they stopped doing so that they can be in March 2025? So what are those things that happened? We're going to write that. And I feel more present because I now know. So what do you know now because of this exercise? What is that which makes you more present to the 2025 we are in right now? So I'm recording this now, and it's May 2025. So what do you know now today that makes you feel present? Okay, so this exercise was given to my participants who are part of effects of toxic relationships. So coming back to the subject, you will feel more present because you're now not, taking in any energy from the person who's toxic to you. You're able to identify that. You're more present because you don't have to play a role in the drama that's happening. You don't have to play the role of a good girl or a nice boy. You don't have to play the role of the shoulds. Okay, so we should be this way, should be that way. Or you feel more present because you now know very deeply what your true values are, who you really are. Okay, so these are very big things, but think very in simple, small ways. You feel more present because I now know my children are more important to me than being a part of a system that does not work for me right now. So I feel more present because I now know that the work I do is more important and it serves the society. So that is more important. And I feel more present when I'm with my work. If you enjoy the work that you do. So whatever it is, you can write. This is an important note. Now we are going to end the video here. If this or any exercise, so this is part of a handbook, this particular time tracking exercise. So that's why I've written any exercise. So if this exercise was particularly hard for you and you're not able to do it, you do not have to do it. Healing does not mean suffering. Healing means experiencing the pain as it occurs little by little. Okay. Healing does not mean you have to put yourself into suffering. Okay. So if it was particularly hard for you, consider doing it with a therapist. So I'm speaking to my participants now. If it was very difficult for you, you have a choice to skip it or take a personal session with me where we can do it together if you want to try out this exercise. Okay, so I hope this exercise helps you guys. And as I said, this has been very life changing for some of my own clients who tried it out with me, and I've also tried it out for myself. So I'm very confident that this is a very good exercise to try. This is based on trauma psychology. Okay, so if I can just recap, this exercise is for our brain to reorient to the present, to remember or to identify that we've grown, that there are some skills and some resources that has helped us to come so far. So when you do this, your brain sort of shifts its way of thinking. So when we are to put it in very simple terms, when we are with someone who likes us, let's say, and we trust that person, and that person really accepts us for who we are, they see our flaws and limitations, but doesn't really judge us or put us in a box. So this person is very wise and kind. When you're with that person, you feel a little spontaneous, you feel a little large, right? Energetically. But when you're with someone who is not like that, who picks out your flaws and enlarges them every time, or anything, they're just draining. You can't have a conversation with them. You can't sit with them. It's very hard for you. Your energy sort of shrinks, right? You become very small and tight and hard on the inside. So let's say these are states in the brain. Okay. So in the brain, there's a state where you are more expanded, and there's a state where you really shrink. So when you do this exercise and when you realize, so coming back to this exercise and the recap that I was doing, you are able to reorient yourself to the present, and you're able to see all the skills and resources that you've gained across time, and you come back to the present. So your state changes. Instead of being the state of being shrunk tight and hard, you'll be able to expand a little bit, but with clarity, with practicality. You're not fooling yourself. You're actually looking at what hurt you, and at the same time giving a breathing space around it to say that this did happen. It was hard, but I managed it. I went through it and I learned something from it. So things like that. I hope this helps, and thank you for listening to the end. Take care.